anybody who has been treating their domestic staff poorly and you have some insight to this, please do share with us. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. At Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and X at Nigeria Info PH. Then please do send us a message. I would love to read them as the show continues. The number is 0809 030 6416. 0809 030 6416. Let's get to you now this morning.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
With Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, 92.3. Hello, Port Harcourt. Good morning. Oh, dear. Apologies. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Welcome, sir. Season's greetings.
Okay. Victor.
Welcome, Victor.
So who am I on to?
You call it's Nigeria Info. This is Jude.
Nigeria Info.
Yes, please. You just call.
Okay.
All right. 92.3. Good morning. Hello, Port Harcourt. Good morning.
Good morning, Brother Jude.
Good morning, please. Welcome.
Chinke Daniel, Imogate, and Ozoako with the update.
Welcome. Season's greetings to
Can
you.
I share somebody who is in the opposite? Hello?
Yes, I'm listening to you, sir.
Yes. Somebody, I will mention his name because it is for good. Justice Ikweche, retired Justice of Appeal Court in Enugu.
Okay.
That man is peculiar. Out till now, I have not seen anybody like that. Somebody that will get to that height and treat everybody equally. In 1987-88, I worked in his yard as a elder welding his gate. I was there when Vice Chancellor came to his house, and all other dignitaries were coming. Do you know why I'm saying this now is that, do you know that the way Justice Ikweche, Justice Ikweche, when he treated those Vice Chancellors and all other high personalities that came, that is the way he treated me with my rag, welding his gate. After doing my work, him and his wife will come. The way those dignitaries, he will work them as they are doing. That is the way he also did to me. As the one scrambled for the cup, carried me, he came out and waved me as well. And his children, some master's degree holders, all other undergraduates, they were doing their job just like, so the man has no, I don't know how to express this. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Yes, I have to agree with you. Sometimes it's good to hear the good as well. So even his children were being taught how to be humble. That's a good sign. If he could treat you like that, that's a good sign. But what about those who don't? Why don't they? You can afford multi-million naira cars, but you will not pay your cook, your cleaner, a decent wage. How do you think that person driving room and then you're not paying him 70? I heard some of you pay 50,000 naira to your somebody who's living with you, wash your clothes. conversation for this morning as we start to count down to the Christmas day. Today is the 11th day of December. So exactly 2 weeks from now, we should be saying Merry Christmas to everybody. Now, whilst we are on Christmas, or at least getting there with all of the, things that we're experiencing, let's talk about how we treat our, domestic staff. There've been several, conversations about this. But I'm hinging it down, and I can't say if it's a moral, if it's an ethical thing, but I had to ask, or I am asking, why do some people poorly treat their domestic staff? Now, I gave the example of a butler, right? Yes, someone who's in charge of large homes, usually very wealthy families, And I remember one of my television shows when I was much younger called The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I don't know how many of you saw that. It was where Will Smith, rose to fame. He was the star of that show. And the butler, in that particular TV show. Very funny character. But it epitomized what it was as an upper middle class American to be in a position of power. That yes, you had a big house. So rather than having, people come in and out, you had a living butler, someone who made sure the car was kept, who made sure the electricians come and fix this, who would call the plumbers, who would make sure that your garden is always, in pristine condition. So you didn't need to hire a gardener. The butler would make sure some people come clear the grass and they go, keeps it neat. He basically manages the house for you. You don't see or do anything. Like I said, a good butler is seen but not heard, but a great butler is not even seen or heard. Everybody just comes to the house and everything. Just house, this house, what's going on? It's not very certain here. Oh, God, Jeffrey, that was the guy's name. The butler's name back then in the movie, in the series. Sorry, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You should see the old one, not the new one, the old one. So he was paid a lot of money. In fact, I got to find out that some butlers, I think there was a documentary I saw, some butlers who are trained. There are schools where people go and train to become butlers. Some people make $40,000 a year. Some people make $100,000 a year. Some people make $800,000 a year. Managing estates for people. They wear uniforms. Good morning, sir. Those of you who are comic book nuts and comic book fans, or comic book movie fans, right? Superhero movies. Batman, right? Batman has Alfred. Alfred is his butler. But you see how much respect Batman has for Alfred. In fact, without Alfred, Batman can be Batman. Stark, Iron Man, has Jarvis. Jarvis is his butler. If you get the original, when Paul became, a robot and what about, AI. But originally, he had a butler named Jarvis. So he made, in new generations, the AI that helps him, he named it after the butler, Jarvis. They make work easier. The thing is that some of you poorly meant to have 1 day off. You call them on the day that they're meant to be off and say, oh no, something has happened. Please go to the market and go and meet go and do this, go and do that. Some of them, the room where you've kept them, you've not changed the mattress in over 20 years. The AC is bad. Instead of you to go and send somebody to fix it, no. And it's just where my maid stays. Because your maid, you basically put the person in the toilet.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. 0003. 90.3. Hello, Port Harcourt. Season's greetings to you, please. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. The man.
Could you say that again, please?
Okay, I want to remain anonymous.
Oh, fine. Yes, you have a right to remain anonymous, please. Yes, do go on.
I want to talk about this with how this treat it.
You want to talk about? You want to talk about what?
How employers treat it.
Oh, okay.
By nature of work, tend to people's home because I work in, and sometimes I see how they treat it very poorly. Some of people are beaten, treated. I wonder why is somebody who has a child who has them this way happen telling them. In fact, let me say, I don't exaggerate. 5% of them of employers are like from what personally witnessed. They are badly treated, badly fed, beaten, and sometimes it's appalling. You see these people outside, they are beaten, and they come home. So
it is vexing why they do that, but I still don't understand why. That's the ultimate question. Uncle's joining me for a few minutes, 2 minutes, and he's going to be out. Now, Sam, you've seen Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
That's
the
right.
old one with Will Smith,
Yeah.
but how he became famous, and then Butler there, Jeffrey, very character.
The British guy.
He was probably the one who probably made the whole thing work with his antics. I went online. In fact, I have the page in front of me here. How to become a butler. Job description.
In
right?
what country?
Yeah, wait. There's a finishing school, right? They teach you how to clean silverware and take up fine antiques and art. How to organize, shoot, and take care of guns. You meet and greet guests, right? And sometimes cook. If you remember in that show, Jeffrey could also cook.
Yeah.
Jeffrey could drive. Jeffrey could do everything that everybody needed in the house.
Jeffrey was the head of that family.
He was basically, he was basically everything.
Yeah.
But Jeffrey was paid more than some doctors at that time. Now, the average salary for a butler now in Washington, D.C. is between $45,000 to $75,000 a year.
Okay.
If we multiply that by equivalent, we're talking about close to 40 or 50 million naira a year. If you divide that by 12, you're basically saying that fellow is taking nothing less than 3 million naira a year.
Yeah.
Sorry, a month salary.
Yeah.
But there are some butlers, the butlers who work for, like say Jeff Bezos and the very uber rich, or maybe some celebrities, they earn 800,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that Nigerians should pay that, but if people can actually see the value of a domestic person, why then are some people in Rumokoro whose driver triples as the driver, the washerman, the security guard, also the mechanic, why are they paying them 100,000 naira and then they tell him to sleep in the BQ with no fan and no power?
Because of the existing structure. Over there is the training required to be a butler. There is the pay that you cannot go below. There is the requisite skill set. There are systems and structures to ensure that if you do not pay up, the person can either leave you and go elsewhere or sue you. Right here in Nigeria, you don't have that. As a matter of fact, you have to even explain what a butler is.
Oh, I'm doing that.
If I'm a domestic staff, and a lot of times we don't even see contracts, it's a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah,
I'll
give you a size.
See what you go do. You came in as driver. Eventually, you find yourself doing gardening. You go begin to wash clothes, right? You're doing things. So, because things are not defined, that's one. Two, we don't have a structure. If the average domestic staff in Nigeria is aggrieved, where do they run to? the very likely option you will get, even if you complain to a learned person, is just leave the family.
Yeah.
That's the worst. Okay, you're tired, they go. But their grievance is not even captured. I remember having the conversation on minimum wage, and we talked about, civil servants, which always comes up. And somebody mentioned, what about the informal sector? What about the, as we call them, the house girls, right? The fact that that was an afterthought, the fact that we had to bring it up. Again, it's not like we forgot. That was already a neglected sector. We now had to bring, okay, what about these people? If you and I even have problems in the corporate space, going to the industrial court, you're not quite sure if you're going to get justice, right? So the structure is not exactly functional as it should be.
No, let me structure. What about just human decency? Why would anybody have cars? All the children are going to schools where they pay 1.5 million a term, not session, a term. They go to shop in some of the best supermarkets. What they used to buy gari and soap could feed a family for a month. And yet the person who's cooking the food for them, who's going to open the gate for them, is paid just about the same amount they use to refuel their car. That's the big shocker for me yesterday. A car these days is upwards of 80,000 naira.
Yeah, around that, yeah.
To fill your tank. Yes, and then some people pay their maids, not butler. I'm using the butler as the extreme level of competence.
Elitist.
Yes, the elite. But the maid, the washerman, even though there's some people, I found out there are people who have washing machines, but they still have a washerman who comes, uses the washing machine, but will have to press the clothes, has to fold them. They pay that person 50,000 naira a month.
Okay, so here's the thing. First of all, there are two factors. There is the idea that we want more for less. Everybody, regardless of how goodwill you are, wants to get the best possible deal. So you want to pay possible lowest price, right? On average, people want to spend less for more value. That's how businesses get to maximize profit. Can we spend less and maximize profit?
Fine.
So you have that nature as a human. People could exceptionally want to, okay, no, I would want to do more. But on average, you want to spend less for more. There's that. Secondly, there is the concept of market forces. If I'm looking for a domestic staff, I have to ask around from those who very likely have hired, what is the going rate at this time? If a lot of domestic staff members that have worked for people are earning in the corridors of 50K, I might not want to do better than that, right?
Wait, where's the role? That's what I said. Where's the role of the ethical and moral? So yes, you can ask around and people are saying they're paying 50,000 naira. But when you, like my friend would say, when he sometimes goes to the mechanic and the mechanic tells him, oh, God, this thing is 20,000 naira, he asks himself this fundamental question. If I were to do this job at this point in time, would 20,000 naira satisfy me? If it will, then I will pay. If I don't think it will, if I think I'm being cheated or something, I'll go somewhere else. But most people, like you said, and I agree with you, it's about the least to get the most. How about you pay the person 50,000 naira, your housemaid, instead of you to put mattress for the person to sleep, the person is sleeping on a mat in your house where you have AC.
That one is the person is just being inhumane, right?
But what we are saying as extreme is very normal. There are maids who sleep in the pantries. There are maids who don't have a home or who don't have a place. They sleep on the corridor. There are drivers who have to walk to work because if they tell their guys say they don't come work, any problem. They don't have enough money to transport themselves. The organ knows. The organ knows where his man is staying in a bacha. Yet the organ is very comfortably paying him 80,000 naira a month. Then you give the same driver 80,000 naira to fill his car.
Well, there's a difference between trying to save money and being wicked, right? These examples, those people are just wicked. That's what it is.
But they're not unusual.
They're just wicked.
So let's be honest, not unusual in Nigeria.
No, they are not. But there's the concept or just the human decency, right? There are just some things that come naturally. Hey, this person works for you. These are the things you can provide for them, regardless of maybe how much you pay. There are just some things you can do.
Yeah.
You don't have that, you're a wicked person. Let's not even argue about that.
So why are they doing it?
Because they can. More importantly, they can get away with it, right? The reason why it's called goodwill is because it's not obligatory. I get to, out of my possibly nature, or if you want to go for the magnanimity, get to do something that I consider goodwill. For it to qualify as goodwill, it means that I'm not mandated to do it. Because if I have to do it as an obligation, it's not goodwill. It's an obligation, right? So, when it comes to situations of abusing a person's right of human, I'm looking for the right way to, like, taking away the essence of humanity, making a person feel less than human. That is you just being a terrible person. But for what you pay your staff, it is a combination of what you can afford, what people pay for that service, and possibly the idea that these people do not have anywhere to run to. They're almost helpless. So these are the factors, I believe.
Most politicians would treat their domestic workers poorly because they in their occupation have ungodliness in high levels. Ungodliness.
Yeah.
That's this other message says. It's because some people are naturally wicked and like to feel superior to others. Then some are operating from trauma. Some years ago, I heard of someone living in Asokoro who paid his maid 15,000 naira a month. I was baffled because why? You are paying 15K a month and still have stringent conditions for somebody that handles your family's daily food. Who knows where you sleep and when you come and go, but you are not afraid? I've never heard of anyone in that house being kidnapped or poisoned. Who knows? Maybe some staff actually had ill treatment.
Jude, I think I'll wrap up by saying this. There's something that I've learned, and now I teach when I have the opportunity to talk to people. Any job that pays only money is a bad job. If you look at the job you do, on whatever level, and the only thing it pays is money, it is a bad job. Now, you might ask by extension, so what qualifies as a good job? A good job, if you remove money, should give you opportunities to grow. It should bring some kind of fulfillment, meaning that when you've done the job, you're satisfied with the effort you've put in. Now, somebody works for you. Yes, you pay them. But while they worked for you, were there opportunities for them to grow in some way? I've seen people. I know somebody personally who asked his gate man, how far? What is your highest level of education?
Oh, wow.
And the guy said, oh, Ghana, why? I don't know if you even write why. He gave him money to go on. Now, I don't know how much that man paid the gate man, right? But while the gate man was working for him, there were opportunities that were presented by virtue of that position that helped the person go from point A to point B. If your job does not help you grow in any way, if there's no fulfillment, you find that when you wake up in the morning and you do a good day job, you're satisfied. And the only thing you get is your paycheck. It is a bad job. So what people need to ask themselves, regardless of what I pay, whether it's high or it's low, what else is this person gaining from working for me? If you don't have an answer to that question, then that tells you
that you're a bad employer. All right, Sam will be with you later on Hard Facts, bringing you hard